Episode of the Future of Farming. Today, of course, we discuss a number of different topics relating to where agriculture is going in the next several years or even several decades. And today I want to talk about probably the most important aspect of the future of farming, and it affects everything we're doing right now. And that has to do with soil health. Now, for those of you guys who are new to the show, we pick on soil health quite often here because soil is really the backbone of everything we do in agriculture. It's everything that we do as far as getting yield, improving the health of our environment. It's key to so many different things. In fact, we kind of overlook it, but not only does soil obviously grow the crops the food that we eat, but it also sequesters nitrogen and carbon and a lot of the greenhouse gases, which is what you've been paying attention to the news, what the climate activists are so up in arms about is this whole idea of greenhouse gases and global warming. Well, to the extent that the world is warming or is getting hotter, it has a lot to do with agriculture because, number one, the chemicals that are typically used in modern agriculture will tend to cause what we call nitrogen compounds, such as nitric oxide, nitrous oxide, and different nitrogen oxygen compounds, which are not native nitrogen. The air we breathe, for those of you guys who don't know, has about 72% nitrogen, but it's N2, it's two nitrogen molecules bonded together. But when we use it in agriculture, it's usually nitrous oxide, nitrogen, different types of nitrogen compounds. And these compounds can actually cause greenhouse gases, meaning when they're released in the air, they actually start to heat up the earth, right? They cause warming. And that's a big problem. Number two, the other environmental disasters that excess nitrogen use can cause would be the destruction of soil microbiology, which is what we're going to talk about today, but also the leaching of nitrogen compounds into our waterways. And this can have a couple of different effects. You can have algae blooms like we see here in Florida with red tide. You can see the destruction of other wildlife like fish and other organisms because it creates imbalances in these waterways. And of course, what we really want to focus on today is soil health in relation to microbial activity. And the reason why we want to focus on microbial activity as an important part of soil health is because that is a key component of nature's natural cycle in terms of nitrogen and carbon. Not just nitrogen and carbon sequestration and pulling it out of the air, but in how the plants are able to use these compounds efficiently so that they're able to grow. Now, I want to just, I'm going to just share my screen just to show you this graphic here to give you an idea of what we're kind of talking about here while I explain it. So, first of all, I'll be blunt here. We're destroying our soil. Now, even the most hardcore conventional chemical farmer is going to agree that the use of chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticides is not good for the environment, it's not good for the soil, and it's ultimately not good for long-term production. Yet, in the absence of other solutions, it's sort of what we have to work with, right? But let's take a look at what these compounds are actually doing to the microbiology in the soil and why that's so important. So, first of all, I want to let you know that soil microbiology is a key component to sustaining life. Plants rely on soil microbes. And for those of you guys who don't know, microbes or microbiology refers to bacteria, it refers to protozoa, it refers to mycorrhizae, which are a type of fungus, and other types of organisms that are found in the soil. And these organisms are part of nature's way of finding and helping the plants get the nutrients and water they need. In fact, mycorrhizae, as an example, is a fungus that attaches itself to the roots of plants, and then that actually causes the roots to extend 10 times farther than they normally would. And that helps the plant because it doesn't have to spend all its energy growing these roots and maintaining them, but it's able to use what the funguses are providing. And then in turn, these fungi are able to go out and help the plant contact the water and nutrients that they need to survive and grow healthy. So mycorrhiza is a very important key component to the plant life cycle, enabling it to get the nutrients that it needs. Other types of bacteria and microbiology are responsible for giving certain hormones or certain chemical compounds to the plant that they need to grow. And still others are responsible for suppressing insects and other pests that would normally kill or eat the plants, like nematodes or sometimes insects that lay their eggs in the soil and these types of things. Some of these different soil microbiology help to break down these different things and provide natural toxins which inhibit these pests from getting out of control. And other types of organisms which might be pathogenic, such as nematodes to the plants, are also kept in check by positive microbes that are in the soil that feed off of them. And the last thing that's probably pretty important to most of us here is that the soil microbiology help to break apart those compounds in the soil. So when you have plants and other types of living tissue that needs to be broken down to form the next year's fertilizer, that's when we see that these microbiology are very, very hard at work breaking down those old plants to form a fertilizer to help keep the soil fertile over time. All these functions that are carried out by these microbiology in the soil are a key component, as I said, to the natural growth cycle of plants. But unfortunately, because we've supplanted their natural role in nature with our chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticides, we're not only taking those their jobs away from them, but these chemicals are also very harmful and they start to kill the soil microbiology. So what you can end up with if you're spraying too many chemicals is a destruction of these beneficial microbes in the soil, or causing imbalances in the soil where you have too much of one type, maybe a pathogenic type of microbiology, and an underrepresentation of something that would be beneficial to them. And this, of course, causes huge problems. In fact, when we talk to a farmer who says he's got a major nematode problems, for example, we usually know that there's some problem in the soil that they're not that they've created an imbalance, and then we, of course, have to reintroduce the positive microbiology. So when we look at this cycle here on the screen, we see that again, by killing off these microbes, we're actually damaging the soil over time. In fact, toxic chemicals used in agriculture can kill up to 50 or even 70% of the overall microbial biomass in the soil. So that really reduces organic matter. It reduces water infiltration and aeration in the soil, and it reduces a lot of other key components in soil. Of course, our crop booster here with Harvest Harmonics helps rejuvenate these microbiology by improving photosynthesis efficiency in the plants, as well as sustaining a natural, healthy soil environment for these microbes to flourish and prosper, essentially restoring nature's balance. And that's a key component to making sure that we have long-term benefits and a more natural, regenerative, and sustainable agricultural model. So if you are interested in sustainable agriculture or natural agriculture, or you just want to spend less money on these chemicals that are getting more and more expensive, then give us a call here at 727-324-6750 or email us at service@harvestharmonics.com. And you can get a free sustainability consultation from one of our experts so that you can become a healthy, more organic, regenerative farmer. And of course, you can be part of the future of farming today. Talk soon, guys. We'll hopefully hear from you.